Hello everyone.
Hello, Teacher Pendo.
Welcome to today's hot number section. Now in our lesson today, we are going to be learning about speed. Now can someone give me a definition of what speed is? Yes, Wankoi?
Speed is the measure of how fast or slow someone or something is going.
Very good. I couldn't have said it better myself. Now speed is a measure of how fast or slowly something is moving. It is expressed in terms of distance covered in a unit of time.
Oh, Teacher Pendo.
Yes, Marara.
Are we going to play a game?
No, Marara. I am going to use these balls to demonstrate something. Now, I want you to watch very carefully. Okay, so Marara, can you tell us what you have observed?
Well, one of the balls was moving faster than the second ball. So I think it was moving at a higher speed.
That's right, Marara. Now, as I said earlier, speed is a measure of the distance covered per unit time. So if we want to calculate the speed, we simply divide the distance covered by the time it takes to cover the distance. Now, we express speed in kilometers per hour or in meters per second. Now, we use kilometers per hour when we are covering long distances like from Nairobi to Mombasa or from Kenya to Tanzania. Now, when we are covering short distances, for example, running 100 meters in athletics or throwing a stone, we use meters per second. For example, if a bus covers a distance of 80 kilometers in 2 hours, then its speed is 80 kilometers divided by 2, which gives us 40 kilometers per hour. Now, if we know the speed and the time taken, we can then calculate the distance. Now, in this case, 40 kilometers per hour multiplied by 2 gives us 80 kilometers. So if we know any two of the variables, then we can calculate the third.
Teacher Pendo?
Yes, Marara?
I'm not sure I understand.
Don't worry, Marara. Maybe this is going to help. This is what my teacher used to teach me when I was in primary school.
Teacher Pendo, you were in a primary school?
Well, I went to primary school too.
Hey, look, it's a triangle.
Well, it is a triangle, but not just any kind of triangle. Now, this triangle gives us a relationship between distance, speed, and time. So distance divided by time gives us speed. And distance divided by speed gives us time. And finally, speed multiplied by time gives us distance. Now, let's go through some examples. If Marara takes 4 hours to complete his journey at a speed of 80 kilometers per hour, how long was his journey? Yes, Otieno?
80 times 4 is 320, so his journey was 320 kilometers.
Very good. Now you multiplied speed by time to calculate distance. And I'm really impressed by you guys. You're doing really well. Now another question. If Moirori runs a distance of 100 meters at a speed of 10 meters per second, how many seconds does it take him? Yes, Marara?
Well, now, if time is calculated by dividing distance by speed, then we divide 100 meters by 10 meters per second. So our answer will be 10 seconds.
Excellent, well done. Now another example. If I was driving my car at a constant speed of 20 kilometers per hour and I traveled for 100 kilometers, how long was I driving for? Yes, Moirore?
100 divided by 20 is 5. So you were traveling for 5 hours.
Oh, Teacher Pendo?
Yes, Marara.
Now, that was a very long journey. I think you ought to try driving a bit faster. I can run faster than that.
Oh, Marara. Okay, final question. If Marara was running at 20 meters per second and he ran for 50 seconds, what distance would he have traveled for? Yes, Judy?
50 multiplied by 20 is 1,000 meters. So 1,000 meters.
Very good. Now we can also express 1,000 meters in kilometers. Now who can tell me how many meters there are in a kilometer? Yes, Wangoi?
1,000 meters.
Very good. So how do we express 1,000 meters? Yes, Otieno?
1 kilometer.
Very good. So 1,000 meters is the same as 1 kilometer. Well done. Now, how many seconds are there in 1 hour? Yes, Moirore?
There are 60 seconds in a minute and 60 minutes in an hour. So 60 multiplied by 60 is 3,600.
Very good. Now remember, it is very important to know your times tables. So 1 kilometer per hour is equals to 1,000 meters per 3,600 seconds. Now this can be simplified as 5/18. So when converting kilometers per hour to meters per seconds, we simply multiply the number by 5/18. Let's have a look at an example. So with 18 kilometers per hour, it means we are traveling 18 kilometers in 1 hour, which we can express as 18/1. So what we do is multiply 18/1 by 5/18, which gives us 90/18, which gives us 5. Therefore, we can say 18 kilometers per hour is the same as 5 meters per second. Now, how do you think we convert meters per second to kilometers per hour? Judy, do you want to give it a try?
Yes. Do we divide by 5/18?
Okay, so we divide by 5/18. Now remember that when you are dealing with fractions, instead of dividing, we can switch the denominator and the numerator and then multiply. So when converting from meters per second to kilometers per hour, we multiply by 18/5. Now let's look at another example. 25 meters per second is expressed as 25/1, which we multiply by 18/5, which gives us 450/5 equals to 90. Therefore, we say that 25 meters per second is the same as 90 kilometers per hour.
Wow, Teacher Pendo.
Yes, Mara?
Now, all this multiplying by fractions is really confusing me. Is there a simpler way?
Well, Marara, if it helps, think of it this way. Whatever distance you travel in a second, you multiply by 3,600 to find out the distance in an hour.
Right, I get it. So, because we said that there are 3,600 seconds in an hour.
Exactly. So 10 meters in a second would mean that in an hour we could travel 36,000 meters. Now we also said that 1,000 meters is equal to 1 kilometer. So 36,000 meters equals...
Oh, 36 kilometers, 36 kilometers.
Okay, so 10 meters per second is equal to 36 kilometers per hour. Now to work out how many meters per second from kilometers per hour, you do the reverse. So you multiply the kilometers by 1,000 to find out the meters and then divide by 3,600 to work out the distance traveled in a second.
Oh, Teacher Pendo.
Yes, Mara?
Now, dividing by 3,600 sounds so complicated.
Exactly, which is why multiplying by 18/5 or 5/18 is very straightforward.
Oh, Teacher Pendo.
Yes, Mara?
Now I get it.
Excellent. Well done, all of you. Now make sure you practice at home. But for now, we're out of time on hot numbers.
Whoa, Teacher Pendo.
Yes, Mara?
I'm going to calculate how fast I can run in meters per second and in kilometers per hour.
Great, you do that.